Top 10 Business Ideas for 2022. How to start a well drilling business from scratch. The relevance of the business idea from the outside. It may seem that only oil and gas companies may be interested in geological exploration and drilling services, and they already have enough of their own contractors. In fact, legal entities and individuals from other areas apply for such services. For example, developers when preparing a site for construction, and private owners of land, when building wells or other installations for extracting groundwater. Costs and profits. According to preliminary estimates, the implementation of the project for geological exploration and drilling of wells will require at least 1,600,000 rubles. Moreover, an impressive part of the investment will go to the purchase of equipment. It is not worth waiting for a quick return on payback. However, if there are orders, there is every chance of reaching a net profit in less than a year. For example, a net profit of 200,000 rubles will allow you to recoup your investment in just a few months. Costs at the start. An approximate calculation for Krasnodar item of expenses amount. Business registration 20 feet 000 equipment 1 foot 180 feet 000 office furnishing and renovation 200 feet 000 website design and development 50 feet 000 unexpected expenses 150 feet 000 total 1 foot 600 feet 000 monthly costs item of expenses amount, rent 100 feet 000 wage 460 feet 000 consumables 100 feet 000 unexpected expenses 40 feet 000 total 700 feet 000 permits and documents business registration. To get started, register as a business entity. You can work as an individual entrepreneur, but the best solution would be to register a legal entity. A suitable code for registration is 43.13.10, Drilling and Exploration Drilling Works. This code includes work for construction purposes, geological and similar studies, but excludes work directly related to oil and gas production. One certificate of registration is not enough. So immediately after its registration, obtain the necessary licenses and permits. Join a self-regulatory organization of builders, since permission to carry out certain works is issued only to members of the SRO. Please inquire directly from the selected SRO for the conditions of entry. You also need to obtain a permit to use heavy construction equipment. It is issued by Rostechnidzor for a limited period, so you will need to regularly renew this permit. You need to obtain permission directly to carry out geological exploration and drilling of wells from the Federal Service for Supervision of Natural Resources. In some cases, such permission will be needed not only by the contractor, but also by the customer. Documents for registration of LLC. To register, submit an application in the Form No. P11001, the charter of the LLC and the minutes of the General Meeting of Founders, as well as documents that confirm the presence of a legal address. Do not forget to pay the state duty and attach the payment receipt to the general package of documents. Room selection. When choosing a room, focus on a small office and several hundred square meters to accommodate large and heavy equipment. Choose the location based on the fact that most of the orders will come from outside the urban area. The costs depend on whether you buy the land in the property, or will only rent. It is good if you manage to negotiate with the local authorities on the long-term use of the site on favorable terms for you. In the premises for the office, carry out cosmetic repairs and buy all the equipment necessary for bookkeeping and document management, as well as purchase furniture. The cost of equipping the office, including repairs, will be about 200,000 rubles. Monthly rental payments, together with the lease of the site, start at 100,000 rubles. Equipment. The most difficult thing is the purchase of specialized equipment. Investments depend on the amount of equipment, its use and maintenance features. Also, the constant purchase of consumables can be attributed to significant expenses. According to the most conservative estimates, at least 1 million rubles will be spent on the purchase of equipment. Truck, from 500 feet 000 rubles drilling rigs, from 150 feet 000 rubles metal structures, from 80 feet 000 rubles mud pumps, from 50 feet 000 rubles electrical equipment, from 100 feet 000 rubles blowout prevention equipment, from 150 feet 000 rubles cementing plants, from 150 feet 000 rubles total, from 1 foot 180 feet 000 rubles for the cost of consumables, lay at least another 100,000 rubles monthly. Staff. Hire specialists depending on the profile of services that your company will provide. Executive work can be done by simple workers. Analytical studies require the participation of qualified specialists. To work on one simple project, a team of 5 people is enough. For geological exploration, twice as many. You will also need to hire employees in the office to maintain documentation and take orders. Driller, 2 people, 120 feet 000 rubles engineer, 1 person, 50 feet 000 rubles communications laying specialist, 1 person, 40 feet 000 rubles driver, 1 person 30 feet 000 rubles worker. 5 people, 150 feet 000 rubles accountant, 1 person, 30 feet 000 rubles manager, 1 person, 40 feet 000 rubles total, 460 feet 000 rubles. How to advertise a business. Start promotion from the internet. If the project does not have its own website, then there is no project at all. Website optimization and its constant promotion in search engines requires time and effort, but the result is worth it. As practice shows, most of the customers come through the internet. A good option would be to cooperate with construction companies on an ongoing basis. The real estate market in the regions is developing at an impressive pace, and each new project requires preliminary geological exploration. Conclude long-term cooperation agreements. Pros and cons of a business idea. Project advantages. Serious business demand from legal entities and individuals. Expandable to offshore drilling operations. Project cons. Huge startup costs. Complex entry system. Industry competition. The success of the project depends on the competence of employees, the availability of equipment, the skills of the entrepreneur himself, and other factors. Your own reputation also plays a significant role, especially against the backdrop of competition. We wish you good luck. How to open a spice shop from scratch. The relevance of the business idea. Since the time of the great geographical discoveries, the volume of the market for spices and spices around the world has been steadily growing. Since then, spices have become more accessible and no kitchen can do without a standard set of seasonings. With the interest in cooking, the demand for quality products is also growing. True connoisseurs have long been dissatisfied with the assortment offered on the shelves of chain stores. Really good spices are purchased by weight and from trusted suppliers. Costs and profits. The preliminary amount for the launch of the project is 328 feet 000. Operating expenses can be reduced at the expense of employees. If the owner engages in sales on his own, then it will be faster to reach payback. The minimum profit of 50 feet 000 will allow you to recoup investments in 6 months or more. As customers grow, so will sales. Monthly net profit will start from 100,000 rubles. You can also increase income in the future by opening another spice shop. Startup costs. Approximate calculation for St. Petersburg cost item amount. Business setup 1 foot 000 shop setup 80 feet 000 equipment 37 feet 000 purchase of goods 200 feet 000 advertising 10 feet 000 total 328 feet 000 monthly costs cost item amount. Rent 40 feet 000 advertising 10 feet 000 purchase of goods 100 feet 000 total 150 feet 000 permits and documents business registration. An ideal solution for decorating a spice shop would be opening an IP. Submit a completed application for registration, a photocopy of the Russian passport along with the original for verification and a receipt for payment of the state duty to the tax office. Suitable OKVED code 47.29 retail sale of other food products in specialized stores. Room selection. Opening a spice shop away from other commodity places will be a big mistake. It will also be in vain to place a point in a shopping center, albeit a very passable one. For a spice shop, the environment is much more important. No one will purposefully go for spices. It is unlikely that they will look for spices when shopping. Suitable for you. Kiosk or department at the entrance to the hypermarket. A small department in a pavilion in the city market outlet near grocery stores. The main principle of placing a spice shop is to place it near the places where products are sold. For example, a buyer goes to the market for food, and at the same time buys spices for their preparation. Put at least 40 feet 000 for renting a small point. The appearance of the outlet also plays a significant role in attracting customers. A bench decorated in a wooden style will look spectacular. When separating spices by country of origin, you can also use decorative elements such as country flags or even a world map. For sauces, select a separate rack. The costs for the design and arrangement of the shop, including the signboard, will be about 80,000 rubles. Equipment. The minimum set of equipment for a small spice shop. Rack, 1 piece. 20 feet 000 showcase, 1 piece. 10 feet 000 storage container, 50 pieces. 5 feet 000 electronic scales, 1 piece. 2 feet 000 total, 37 feet 000. The number of containers for storage depends on the assortment. It is best to store spices and seasonings in sealed glass jars, some to keep open to attract customers. The pleasant smell of spices and spices will interest potential buyers. Also stock up on containers for customers. These can be sealed bags, jars with a tight-fitting lid. How to choose a supplier. There is a huge variety of spices in the world, but do not rush to buy the rarest of them. Get the most popular, but high quality. It is important to focus on the spice-producing country, since those who know a lot about spices are guided by this criterion. Conditionally, the assortment can be divided into the following groups: spices, sugar, salt, yeast, vinegar, mustard, starch, alum, agar-agar, food acids and other one-component substances that enhance the taste of food and its digestibility. Spices, dry ground ginger, bay leaf, cumin, saffron, rosemary, nutmeg, several types of pepper and other aromatic plant seasonings, Sinelli hops, several types of curry, a mixture of peppers and other ready-made mixtures that are used when baking meat, chicken, fish, cooking pilaf, barbecue. As well as in canning, you can also diversify the assortment of the spice shop due to various sauces, aromatic oils, sets for mulled wine and confectionery mixtures. Staff. Doing business on your own, and in particular sales, is a great way to immerse yourself in the project completely. In addition, it is an opportunity to reduce operating costs in a limited budget. And it will also be easier to track demand and, on its basis, purchase products for sale. You can hire an employee after reaching a payback and a stable profit. How to advertise a business. If the spice shop is in a good location, then the first customers can be attracted only through location. For better reach, use promotional brochures and gift cards. Try to attract an audience through a social media account, targeting, and collaboration with culinary bloggers. Your audience is housewives. They go grocery shopping and cook their own food, buy a standard set of seasonings and spices, but do not like culinary experiments. You can attract them by focusing on product quality lovers. They love to cook according to new recipes and are not afraid to experiment with new dishes. You can attract them with new seasonings. Professionals. As a rule, professional chefs are well versed in spices and prefer to buy in specialized stores. Offer them cooperation. Pros and cons of a business idea. Pros: no seasonality, constant demand, high profitability. Minuses: competition with spice departments in chain stores. Supplier unreliability. Expansion is possible only through additional investments on the sale of spices, seasonings and spices. You can build a simple and understandable business that will bring a stable income. However, the development of the project will be fraught with certain difficulties, which can be dealt with only with proper budget planning. May you succeed. How to open the production of homemade dumplings from scratch. How to open the production of homemade dumplings from scratch. The relevance of the business idea. Homemade dumplings are always tastier than factory ones, but you don't have enough skills or time to bother with cooking them. By definition, it will not be possible to reach industrial turnover, but a certain exclusivity gives additional interest to your products. And there you can expand the offer to dumplings, Monty and other homemade dishes. Costs and profits. The main item of expenditure when starting a project is equipment. True, the total amount depends on the household appliances you already have. Estimated costs at the start 80,000 rubles. Profitability is low, but the absence of ongoing costs for rent and staff will allow you to reach payback faster. With well-established distribution channels, the profit can be about 20,000 rubles in the first months. The payback period is 4 months. Costs at the start. An approximate calculation for the Moscow region cost item amount. Registration 1 foot 000, equipment 70 feet 000, procurement of products 7 feet 000, packaging 2 feet 000, total 80 feet 000. Monthly costs. Cost item amount. Products 5 feet 000, advertising 2 feet 000, packaging 1 foot 000, total 8 feet 000. How much does a ready-made business in the field of catering in Moscow cost can be seen on the example of coffee houses and bakeries. This business does not need to be rebuilt from scratch, it is already profitable. Permits and documents. Business registration. Selling homemade dumplings, like any other business, requires proper registration. It is enough to register an IP, however, there are some nuances with other organizational issues. For example, if the conditions allow you to allocate a separate room for home production, then you must obtain permission from the SES. Finished products can be sold through retail outlets or taken to public catering. If it is supposed to sculpt dumplings in the conditions of an ordinary kitchen, then the business also needs to be registered, but there is no need for permits from the SES. Finished products can be sold through friends or through websites. If you conduct business illegally and without supporting documentation, then this threatens with a fine from the tax. List of documents for registration. In the application for registration, indicate 1 main and 2 additional OKVED codes. For example, 98.20 undifferentiated private household providing services for own consumption. 10.13.4 Production of meat containing semi-finished products. Attach a copy of your Russian passport and TIN to the application. Do not forget to pay the registration receipt at Sberbank. Room selection. The project is notable for the possibility of implementation in your own kitchen. An area of 9 to 15 square meters is enough to start a small production. There is no need for a storage room, but a separate freezer just for finished products will not be superfluous. Equipment. First, decide on the production method. Sculpt dumplings from ready-made minced meat and dough. Knead the dough and twist the stuffing yourself. In the second case, you will definitely need an electric meat grinder and a dough mixer. It is possible that all the necessary household appliances are already in your kitchen. Taking into account the purchase of a separate freezer, lay about 70,000 rubles on equipment. How to choose a supplier. Meat, flour, butter, eggs, onions, salt, pepper are the main consumable items. Products with a long shelf life can be bought for future use, but minced meat is best prepared from fresh meat. Monthly product costs depend on the number of orders. At first, we recommend working only on pre-order, and not making products for the future so that they do not deteriorate. Staff. You can cope with the modeling and sale of homemade dumplings completely on your own, or with the help of family members. How to advertise a business. The taste of homemade dumplings cannot be compared with the factory ones. When advertising your products, bet on this. Start selling dumplings with acquaintances of acquaintances, and until word of mouth works. Post ads for the sale of homemade dumplings on websites. You can also declare your business on Instagram. Your audience is predominantly single men and couples who appreciate homemade food but don't have time to cook it. You can build an advertising campaign based on your target audience. For example, instead of pre-orders, offer to subscribe to homemade dumplings. Think over naming and plan additional positions. Pros and cons of a business idea. Pros: no rent payments and no need to hire staff. Ability to work without leaving home. The prospect is to slightly expand the menu and offer homemade dumplings, pies for sale. Minuses: you can't make big money at home without investments in advertising. There are no prospects for growth and development. Distrust of potential customers to homemade products. Undoubtedly, doing business at home is beneficial for a certain category of people, for example, pensioners, temporarily unemployed, or people with disabilities. The prospects for growing from home production to a small legal workshop depend on various factors. However, even in this form, the project has a chance of success. Good luck! How to open a chess club from scratch. The relevance of the business idea: a small payment for a one-time visit, a subscription with a pleasant discount, participation in tournaments of various levels, and the organization of a chess school for children and adults. A chess club has much more opportunities to earn money than you can imagine. In addition, the organization of such a project can turn into useful contacts. Costs and profits. A chess club can hardly be called a full-fledged business, however, it also requires investments. Investments from 30,000 rubles can pay off through membership fees, organization of tournaments, sale of souvenirs with club symbols, training courses, and private chess lessons. However, this requires earning a reputation. A minimum profit of 15,000 rubles will allow you to recapture investments in 2 months. Startup costs. Approximate calculation for Moscow. Item of expenses amount: equipment 27 feet 000, internet communication 1 foot 000, unforeseen expenses 2 feet 000, total 30 feet 000, permits and documents. Business registration. At the initial stage, a chess club can work in the donation format. Assess your capabilities and demand for the service, and only then register an IP. The procedure for filing documents for registration is standard. It will take no more than a week to obtain a certificate. Suitable OKVED code 92.62. Other activities in the field of physical culture and sports. List of documents for registration of IP. Application for state registration of an individual as an individual entrepreneur, Form No. R21001, copy of Russian passport. Receipt for payment of state duty. Room selection. The best solution would be to place a chess club at a school, college, or other educational institution. Firstly, the management will meet you halfway if you will conduct chess lessons for students, and you will save on rent. Secondly, you do not need to obtain permission from the state fire supervision and undergo other checks, as the host institution has already done this. Ready-made infrastructure, convenient address, availability of furniture, and other advantages of accommodation at the institution are obvious. Equipment. A full-fledged chess club requires at least 10 gaming tables and 20 chairs. Of course, you can buy special chess tables and brand new chairs, but they will cost too much. The furniture issue can be solved at the expense of the premises with which you agree on cooperation, but in any case you will have to purchase chessboards on your own. Prices for chessboards vary and depend on various factors, but in your case it is better to purchase the same inexpensive tournament sets so that if the pieces are lost, they can be easily replaced. Chess clocks are an important attribute of tournaments, so you will have to spend money on them. For training sessions, purchase a demo board. Estimated cost estimates for equipment, based on average market prices. Tournament chess, 10 pieces, 4 feet 000 rubles chess clock, 10 pieces, 19 feet 000 rubles demonstration chess, 1 piece, 4 feet 000 rubles total, 27 feet 000 rubles. For tournaments and as an advertisement for the chess club, you can buy badges, key rings and magnets as souvenirs, and hand out custom-made cups and pennants as awards. For these expenses, add about 5,000 rubles a month. Staff. It is not necessary to be a grandmaster or a master of sports, it is enough to be able to play chess and interest others in the game. Interest in the club depends on your organizational skills, while the chess games held in the club do not require your direct participation, as experienced players can organize themselves. However, to teach chess, you will need to have a high level or invite someone who has it. How to advertise a business. Classes for students or schoolchildren as an elective will not take much time, but will help to acquire the necessary organizational skills, and at the same time attract an interested audience. Look for your target audience on thematic forums, through ads and through acquaintances. As a rule, interest clubs are based on the opportunity to spend time doing what you love and in good company. It is your responsibility to create the right atmosphere. Membership in the Russian Chess Federation will add status to your club. Interaction with the chess community will have a positive impact on your reputation. Participate in chess tournaments and run them yourself. Assign chess ranks to club members. Stay up to date with the news of the chess world. You can also organize themed evenings, for example, checkers games, or arrange lectures on the topic of chess, analyze famous games. Additionally, you can earn on the sale of products with club symbols. Promoting the game of chess in general will have a positive effect on your club, so try to make yourself known at the earliest opportunity and at any level. It is up to you to make chess a popular sport again. Pros and cons of a business idea. Pros: interesting and unusual project prospects for building a loyal community, possibility of barter cooperation with the landlord. Minuses: the risk of not finding the target audience. Membership fees may deter potential members. Competition with other interest clubs. Payback is a matter of time. But the organization of a chess club will not take up many resources. You can have classes several times a week, get together on weekends or in your free time. A chess club does not require a full-fledged work schedule. Getting a sponsor will help you monetize your hobby faster and attract more members to the chess club, but for this you need to earn a reputation. I wish you success. How to open a street food fish chips from scratch. The relevance of the business idea. The history of the origin of this street food is much more aristocratic than you might think. Fish chips originated in Britain during the time of Queen Victoria. It was there and then that the dish was born, which is still popular today. In Russia, this street food is not yet so common, which means that there is every chance to become the first. Costs and profits. The startup costs of the project are low, but it is necessary to have a reserve of funds to cover operating costs until the project reaches a payback. Net investments at the start in the amount of 809,000 rubles can be repaid in 10 months with a minimum profit of 80,900 rubles. Startup costs. Approximate calculation for Cheboksary expense item amount. Business registration 10 feet 000 equipment 699 feet 000 products 60 feet 000 total 769 feet 000. You can find out the cost and profitability of a ready-made street food business in different cities at the links below. Permits and documents. Business registration. To register a business, it is enough to issue an IP. Provide a copy of the passport pages to the tax office at the place of residence and fill out an application in the prescribed form. You can pay the registration fee at any branch of Sberbank. A contract for waste disposal and the use of electricity must be obtained immediately after you find a suitable room for rent. For example, if you rent space at a food court in a mall, you can safely use local containers. If you rent a separate place in the city, you will need to conclude a contract for garbage collection. Similarly, with an electricity meter, in a shopping center, electricity consumption can be specified in the terms of the lease agreement, and in the case of a standalone kiosk, you need to conclude an agreement with the distribution zone. Room selection. Choose between two options. The place at the food court in the shopping center is notable for the fact that customers go there purposefully for a snack, but there is too much competition. A standalone kiosk should be located in a well-traversed place, but seasonality cannot be avoided. For example, a point on the campus will be idle in the summer, and on the embankment, on the contrary, there will be no demand in the cold season. The rental price depends on the location. Since equipment costs are low, we recommend opening 2 outlets at once to compare where demand is better. In addition, depending on the season, profit at one point may compensate for the lack of profit at another. Monthly rental costs 80,000 rubles. Equipment. Of the equipment, you only need a deep fryer. The choice of models, as well as the price range, is quite large: Smeg, GF Grill, Gastrorag and others. You can purchase a double container fryer for frying potatoes and chips at the same time, or you can purchase 2 separate units. Buying expensive equipment does not make sense, so focus on the middle price segment. Deep fryer. 1 piece 50 feet 000 rubles distribution line, 1 piece 200 feet 000 rubles refrigerating and freezing cabinets, 1 piece 60 feet 000 rubles dishwasher, 2 pieces 40 feet 000 rubles kitchen utensils, cutting table, 104 feet 000 rubles gas, electric stove, 90 feet 000 rubles coffee machine, 30 feet 000 rubles racks, 5 pieces 50 feet 000 rubles signboard, 10 feet 000 rubles total, 634 feet 000 rubles. How to choose a supplier? The best solution would be to buy ready-made fry mixes, French fries and quick freeze fish mix. Make a test purchase of several manufacturers, Sunny Fries, Four Seasons and others, to determine the option that is acceptable for you in terms of price and quality. For beverages, stock bottled plain and soda water, as well as bottled and canned sodas. The estimated cost of food per month will be 60,000 rubles for 2 outlets. Staff. Frying fish chips does not require any special skill. The kiosk employee prepares portions as orders are received from customers, pays with them and releases the goods. You can handle the service of one point alone, but given the shift schedule, you will need to hire 2 employees for 1 point. Costs. Taking into account the minimum wage for street food workers. Employee. 4 people, 114 feet 000 rubles total, 114 feet 000 rubles. How to advertise a business: a bright sign, a sonorous name, discounts and promotions. Such advertising for street food will be enough. There is no need for a separate website for the project, but you can start an Instagram page for stylish and tasty photos. Pros and cons of a business idea. Advantages: relatively low startup costs, simple and clear workflows, the ability to start with the opening of 2 points at once. Flaws: competition in the catering industry, seasonal demand, risk, reputational risks. As long as fish chips projects have not become familiar in the general mass of street food, there is every chance to find their niche and develop into a chain of eateries. May you succeed. How to open a children's hotel from scratch. The relevance of the business idea. Frequent business trips, shift work and shift schedules force parents to look for a place where they can attach their children for a while. The increase in the retirement period completely crossed out the hopes of parents for grandparents. They are forced to work instead of helping with their grandchildren. The services of a children's hotel will also be relevant for parents raising children alone. Costs and profits. It is possible to recoup investments of 935 feet 000 in 11 months with an average monthly profit of 90 feet 000. Startup costs. Approximate calculation for Moscow. Expense item amount. Business registration 15 feet 000, holiday opening 100 feet 000, design and renovation 450 feet 000, furniture and equipment 306 feet 000, materials and supplies 50 feet 000, unforeseen expenses 14 feet 000, total 935 feet 000, permits and documents. Business registration. The choice of a form for doing business, an individual entrepreneur or an LLC, depends on the plans of the owner. You can also work as an individual entrepreneur. However, if your plans are to attract investments with further scaling of the business, then register an LLC. To register, fill out an application in the prescribed form and attach a copy of your passport, and in the case of an LLC, additionally prepare copies of the charter and minutes of the general meeting of founders. Don't forget to pay the stamp duty. Get registered with the pension fund of the Russian Federation, compulsory medical insurance fund and FSS. After concluding a lease agreement for the premises, obtain permission from the Sanitary, Epidemiological and Fire Services. To do this, employees should have sanitary books ready, and evacuation schemes and fire safety briefings should be placed in the room. Prepare a kindergarten educational program using methodological materials and parent agreement templates. Room selection. A room in a residential area of the city with convenient transport accessibility will suit you. It is also important to have a walking area. Try to find the building of a former or existing kindergarten, but the option of a children's hotel in the format of a converted spacious city apartment is also suitable. The only difference from a private kindergarten is the round-the-clock operation and the ability to leave children for a long time. The requirements for institutions of this type are standard: the presence of their own kitchen, dining, sleeping and play areas, as well as a bathroom and a place for a wardrobe. Pay attention to the bedroom. Here the children will spend not only a quiet hour, but also stay overnight. Ensure the safety of the premises. The costs depend on a number of conditions. Will it be a full-fledged building or a converted apartment? Rent or own? Need a major overhaul or will a cosmetic suffice? Pledge at least 50 feet 000 monthly for rent, from 450 feet 000 for repairs and design. Equipment. The cost of furniture and equipment directly depends on the scale of your project. The more children you can take, the greater the costs. Let's calculate the approximate amount. Dining room furniture, 16 feet 000 bedroom furniture, 120 feet 000 equipment and furniture for the kitchen, 100 feet 000 dressing room furniture, 30 feet 000 playroom furniture, 40 feet 000 total, 306 feet 000. Pledge at least 50 feet 000 for the purchase of bed linen and dishes. Set aside about 50,000 rubles for the monthly purchase of products and consumables. Staff. The presence of specialized education, communication skills with children, the ability to win them over and attract attention, this is what you should focus on when hiring staff. Since it is planned to spend more time with children than in a regular kindergarten, it will be important for the teachers to have a psychological education, or hire a separate psychologist on the staff. The duties of a psychologist include working with children in a playful way to minimize children's stress. It makes no sense to focus on salaries in the public sector, since the salaries of employees in private institutions differ significantly. Educator, 2 people, 80 feet 000 nanny, 2 people, 60 feet 000 nurse, 2 people, 50 feet 000 cook, 1 person, 36 feet 000 cleaning lady, 1 person, 14 feet 000 total, 240 feet 000. Work schedule is variable. Administrative duties and the conclusion of contracts with customers are the responsibility of the owner of the business. How to advertise a business? Arrange a real holiday from the opening. With balloons, soap bubbles and animators. Get a website and social networks for your project. Well-tuned targeted advertising will help attract the attention of the target audience. Don't focus on 24/7 stay. Let this option become a pleasant opportunity for your customers. Offer discounts for long-term contracts. Positioning a children's hotel as a round-the-clock type kindergarten will allow you to lure the audience away from kindergartens with a standard schedule. Bet on reliability, affordability and family values. Parents should be sure that nothing will happen to their children, even if they leave them for a few days, and the children themselves should not be afraid to be alone without their parents. The best advertising will be the reviews of the children themselves, who will be interested in spending time in a children's hotel. This is especially true for planning free time and weekends. For example, on weekends, you can conduct excursions, trips, and other activities with your parents. Such joint activities will not only help children adapt, but also minimize the guilt that parents often feel due to spending too little time with their children. Pros and cons of a business idea. Advantages. Prospects for growth to a chain of children's hotels. Demand driven by circumstance and interesting project to implement. Flaws. Recruitment risks. Reputational risks. Mistakes in pricing. Children's hotel is not just a business, but a socially significant project that can draw attention to the problem. How to start a consulting agency from scratch. Permits and documents. Business registration. The choice between an individual entrepreneur and an LLC depends on the scale of the agency and the ambitions of its owner. As a rule, consulting agencies are registered in the LLC format. However, it is also possible to work as an individual entrepreneur. According to the current legislation, a company that provides consulting services can operate without obtaining a special license. Suitable OKVED Code 70.22 Advisory Services in the field of enterprise management. List of documents for registration. Application for state registration of an individual as an individual entrepreneur, Form No. R21001, copy of Russian passport. Receipt for payment of state duty to register an LLC. You will additionally need application form P11001, 1 copy decision of the sole founder or protocol of the general meeting of founders, 1 copy state duty payment receipt, 1 copy charter of LLC, 2 copies documents confirming the presence of a legal address, 1 copy room selection. Renting a large office is an impractical expense for a startup consulting agency. A zoned space of no more than 40 square meters will suit you, including a separate office for the head and a zone for receiving clients. Focus on premises in business centers. Neighborhood with large offices can play into the hands of a startup consulting agency. Monthly rental price, from 70,000 rubles. Equipment. You will need a standard set of office furniture and equipment. Table, 4 pieces 40 feet 000 rubles. Chair, 4 pieces 6 feet 000 rubles. Sofa, 1 piece 40 feet 000 rubles. Coffee table, 1 piece 4 feet 000 rubles. Laptop, 4 pieces 160,000 rubles. MFP, 1 piece 4,000 rubles. Projector, 1 piece 40 feet 000 rubles. Decor, 6 feet 000 rubles. Total 300 feet 000 rubles. How to build a job. Start by consulting individual entrepreneurs and small firms, and only then move on to working with large organizations. Firstly, large firms do not have confidence in newcomers, and secondly, in order to work with large clients, you need to earn a reputation. It is still at the planning stage to decide on the range of services that your company will provide. For example, you might suggest the following. A package of services for a novice entrepreneur includes primary market monitoring, competition analysis and business plan development for companies already operating in the market. You can offer services for compiling reporting documentation, analyzing strengths and weaknesses, finding new sales channels and planning a comprehensive analysis followed by the preparation of an anti-crisis program will suit both small and large businesses. Other services, such as negotiating, organizing methodological courses and business seminars. Start actively promoting your services for large and successful companies only after you gain experience, earn a name and reputation. Staff in consulting, specialists of a wide profile work, but the manager is obliged to understand literally everything. A broad outlook will help in making decisions in controversial issues, and experience in consulting will be useful for organizing your own agency. When recruiting employees, give preference to specialists with experience, or specialists of a narrow profile who have worked in different areas. For example, you would benefit from an economist with experience in the commercial and nonprofit sectors. To start, 3 employees are enough, whose salary will consist of a salary and a percentage of the project. Therefore, salary costs depend on the number of transactions concluded. Set aside at least 200,000 rubles per month for these expenses. How to advertise a business. In consulting, it is not advertising that is important, but competent PR and well-established connections. Start a website with a detailed description of services and customer reviews. Set up advertising and order image materials in specialized publications. Take part in thematic events, business forums and conferences. Pros and cons of a business idea. The benefits of the project include status project opportunity to make useful contacts and contacts prospects for growth and development. The disadvantages of the project include long and hard work on the reputation, competition with other consulting companies, reputational risks. The cost of consulting services in Russia is much lower than in Western countries. But it is possible to focus on international cooperation in advance, for example, to occupy a niche in providing consulting services to importers and exporters. Good luck! How to open the production of hidden safes and caches from scratch. The relevance of the business idea. It is a mistake to assume that safes are only used in banks or other financial institutions. Budgetary organizations and small businesses also seek to protect themselves from possible theft. Safes are also popular in ordinary apartments. By the way, boxes for storing things in supermarkets are also a kind of safes. Costs and profits. The initial investment in the project directly depends on your ambitions. If you plan only production on order, then the costs will be an order of magnitude less than if you plan to open an additional store. The minimum cost for the implementation of the project is 610 feet 000, with an average profit of 100 feet 000. The payback period is from 6 months. Startup costs. Approximate calculation for Nizhny Novgorod. Cost item amount. Registration 10 feet 000, equipment 150 feet 000, repair. Furniture 300 feet 000, first batch of raw materials 100 feet 000, website development 50 feet 000, total 610 feet 000, permits and documents. Business registration. To get started, set up your business properly. An individual entrepreneur is suitable, but for working with legal entities it is better to register an LLC. You can submit a package of documents for registration in person at the tax office at the place of residence, by mail, through the MFC or online. You can clarify some registration details on the tax website nalog.ru. Suitable OKVED codes. 25.99 Production of other metal products not included in other groups. 47.52.73 Retail sale of metal and non-metal structures in specialized stores. You don't need to get special permissions. The activities for the production of safes do not require licensing. However, the premises must be inspected by the SES and the fire department. The preferred taxation system is USN. List of documents for registration. Registration application. Copy of Russian passport optionally. Notification of the transition to the simplified tax system. Receipt for payment of state duty. To register an LLC, you will additionally need application for registration of LLC, the decision of the sole founder, if there is one founder, or the minutes of the general meeting of founders, if there are several letter of guarantee for the provision of a legal address charter of LLC, 2 copies receipt for payment of state duty room selection as a production workshop, a room suitable for performing welding work with the ability to connect equipment with a power of 380 volts as suitable. The shop must be free of flammable materials, so repairs will need to be made if none are available, otherwise you may not be given a permit. The floor needs concrete or porcelain stoneware so that the metal does not damage the coating, tile the walls, and paint the ceiling. Repair costs will amount to 300 feet 000. The optimal store area for selling safes is from 80 square m. It is desirable that it has 2 halls, a demonstration hall and a warehouse. A suitable place to open a store is in the city center, an area with high traffic, or an area where there are many building materials stores. The total cost of renting the production workshop and premises for sales is from 150 feet 000. Equipment start production with simple models, such as storage boxes for personal items in supermarkets, gyms, swimming pools. In fact, these are also safes, only the simplest ones. From them it will be easier to move on to more complex models, standard safes with complex locks or custom caches. Their production requires welding equipment and a metal cutting machine. The costs will be about 150 feet 000. Types of safes differ in the place of installation and depending on their purpose, for cash, securities, documents, jewelry, weapons. We list the main ones. Embedded. They are mainly produced to order and installed in the walls of houses in the format of a hiding place. Hotel. Standard size safes for hotel rooms. The code for such safes is set by the client banking. Bank safe deposit boxes for storing clients' valuables. Office. Pretty spacious safes for storing office documents. Money armory. Safes for storing weapons. There are also safes according to the degree of security: burglary resistant, fire resistant, fire resistant. Staff. The number of employees depends on the scale of production. Calculation of wages taking into account the shift schedule. Production shop foreman, 2 people, 80 feet 000. Sales manager, 1 person, 30 feet 000. Sales assistant, 2 people, 50 feet 000. Total, 190 feet 000. The sales manager is responsible for finding new customers, drawing up contracts and maintaining accounting systems. Sales consultants advise directly in the hall on ready-made designs in stock and redirect applications for safes under the order to the manager. Masters work directly in the workshop. The owner of the business is responsible for accounting, documentation, promotion and development of the project. How to advertise a business. A full-fledged online store requires funds to launch, fill and promote. If these costs are still out of your budget, then first start a website where you tell about your company, place photos and descriptions of each model, as well as their prices. For applications for safes on order, you can provide an online calculator. Place ads in local media and specialized publications, forums and social networks. For a start, collecting applications for simple models of storage cells from supermarkets is suitable. Pros and cons of a business idea. Advantages. production project with a fairly wide target audience prospects for entering neighboring regions' ability to expand production flaws, rise in price of raw materials competition with other manufacturers, the need to develop distribution channels, the production and installation of hidden safes and hiding places can be much more promising than it seems at first glance. In any case, customers can be attracted both through private orders and through large corporate orders, not to mention the usual sales of standard models. How to open an exhibition of animated canvases from scratch. The relevance of the business idea. Moscow and St. Petersburg are rich in cultural events, but things are different in the regions. You can start loudly with the exhibition, Revived Canvases, in Moscow, and then travel around the regions with it. Thus, the theme of one exhibition will last for a whole year, or even more, and then you can come up with something else. Costs and profits. To organize an exhibition in the animated canvases format, funds will be required to create a program and administrative resources. The project is notable for the opportunity to spend money on its technical implementation once, and then tour with it around the regions. Starting costs are 480,000 rubles. The estimated average profit is 80,000 rubles. The payback period is 6 months. Startup costs. Approximate calculation for Moscow expense item amount. Business registration 10 feet 000 advertising expenses 150 feet 000 equipment 300 feet 000 transportation expenses 20 feet 000 total 480 feet 000 monthly costs expense item amount. Premises rent 100 feet 000 salary 80 feet 000 transportation costs 10 feet 000 advertising 50 feet 000 total 240 feet 000 permits and documents business registration. The activities of the exhibition, like any other commercial project, must be official. Register with the tax office. Register as an individual entrepreneur or LLC, and receive the appropriate certificate. You do not need a special permit to conduct business, but you must have a document that confirms your rights to display projections of paintings. It is also necessary that the documents of the party that accepts your exhibition are in order. Room selection. In order to avoid problems with the exhibition, choose a suitable room. Since multimedia exhibitions are different from ordinary ones, you will need more space. Due to limited space, classical galleries and museums are not suitable, but pavilions and non-standard exhibition spaces, such as former production halls or sports halls, are suitable. The rental price depends on the type of premises, its location and agreement with the owner. For example, it can be rented at a fixed price, or for a percentage of the proceeds. It is impossible to predict the best option. If the exhibition is in demand, then at a fixed cost your profit will be greater than when renting for a percentage. But if the exhibition fails, then there is a chance to go negative due to the small number of visitors. Renting for a percentage of the proceeds would allow sharing these risks with the owner. Equipment. A multimedia exhibition requires lighting and sound equipment. It is possible that many exhibition venues already have everything you need. In this case, you just have to prepare the material for broadcast. This will significantly save your expenses not only on powerful projectors and speakers, but also on their transportation. You will also need to equip a recreation area, for example, by placing several bean bags. You can also equip an interactive zone on the theme of the ongoing exhibition. For example, if the exhibition is dedicated to the Impressionists, then it can be a game or a film on the theme of their work, and in the case of a multimedia exhibition of Ayvazovsky's paintings, you can broadcast a geographical map following the traces of his work. Separately, provide an information stand and a stand for photo shoots. The latter can become an additional advertisement for your exhibition, when visitors post their photos on social networks with the hashtag of your exhibition. You must have rights not only to broadcast works of art, but also to musical accompaniment. It is possible that for this you will need to either purchase the rights, or separately order the writing of music from the composer. Equipment costs depend on the ambition of your exhibition and the level of preparation of the site where you intend to place it. A separate line of expenses may be the development of an application with QR codes for visitors to your exhibition. Estimated costs for the technical equipment of one exhibition start from 300,000 rubles. How to choose an exhibition theme? Obviously, not every work of art is suitable for an exhibition of this format. Wanderers, cityscapes, graphics and other similar topics are absolutely not in the format of multimedia exhibitions. But the Ayvazovsky Sea or the Rarik Mountains, the bright paintings of the Impressionist Monet and the post-Impressionist Van Gogh, the works of the Surrealist Dali and the abstract artist Kandinsky are perfect. A good reason to attract attention and receive an additional grant for the implementation of your project is to coincide with this or that event. For example, in the year of Hieronymus Bosch, exhibitions on the theme of his work were opened all over Europe, but since not all museums could exhibit his works, some sites limited themselves to interactive projects and multimedia exhibitions. Staff. Since the project involves cooperation with exhibition spaces, galleries and museums, all the necessary employees can be found on the spot. There is no need for constant costs for staff salaries, since the work is project-based. In fact, the owner creates the program of the exhibition and agrees on its holding. The owner of the business can cope with these responsibilities. The payment to the personnel involved is implied piecework. How to advertise a business. In the exhibition business, special attention should be paid to the preliminary advertising campaign. You can warm up the interest of the audience with the help of press releases on city news sites and in thematic publications, as well as banners and advertising on the internet. You can hold a grand opening and invite journalists, bloggers, and media people to it. If the preliminary advertising campaign is effective, then no further advertising will be needed. In addition, interest in the exhibition can be increased by targeted advertising on the internet, as well as advertising on radio and TV. Distribute flyers in schools, colleges and universities. Pros and cons of a business idea. Project advantages. Interesting custom project possibility to implement it yourself. Prospects for the tour of the exhibition on how to start a sushi delivery business. Sushi is a popular and loved dish by many. It is ordered both for business lunches and for home gatherings. Sushi, nigiri and rolls came to us from Japanese cuisine, so the food has its own characteristic aesthetics. They order a dish not only in cafes and restaurants, you can arrange delivery to your office or home. Therefore, opening your own sushi delivery is a promising business idea and a sought-after service. If you organize all the processes correctly, its popularity will grow along with the income of the owner. Let's try to figure out how to open a sushi delivery business and what it takes to grow such a company. Business features the demand for fast food and inexpensive food has grown. People do not want to cook, preferring to devote time to work or socializing with loved ones. Therefore, establishments that have takeaway food, as well as delivery services that can bring food from anywhere, are very successful. For this reason, the courier business has become one of the most profitable and popular. But even before you open the delivery of sushi, you need to decide how exactly the business will work. There are two options here: cooperation with cafes and restaurants, delivery of own food. The first scheme of work is simpler. You should negotiate with catering establishments that are ready to send orders to your home. The owner only needs to hire couriers and organize their work. Delivering your own meals is more profitable, but at the same time more difficult. It is much harder to run an enterprise that will take orders, cook and deliver food to customers. To stand out from the competition, such a service must have something special, such as unique sushi recipes. You can focus on the freshness of products, the speed of order fulfillment, or attach a compliment from the institution to each set. Which of these options you choose is up to you. It all depends on what starting amount you are willing to invest in business development. Do not know how to open a sushi delivery, or doubt your abilities? The simplest and fastest payback solution is to buy a ready-made delivery service in St. Petersburg from the owner. This will help to avoid problems associated with the registration and promotion of a new enterprise. What equipment will be needed before opening sushi delivery from scratch? You need to develop a development strategy, identify work stages and implement your project gradually. This approach will help not to miss the little things that can result in additional costs. You also need to think through everything, from the location to the corporate logo. In order to take everything into account in the sushi delivery business plan, you must first calculate how much money you need to invest in rent, purchase of equipment, and an advertising campaign. What equipment is needed for sushi delivery? Technical equipment: refrigerator, freezer, stove, rice cooker, grill, etc., kitchen utensils for cooking, boxes, boards, knives, if you are going to deliver products of your own production, portable refrigerators for storage and transportation of finished orders, transport for transportation. It must be remembered that sushi is a perishable product, so it is transported in special refrigeration equipment for transporting products. Without this, the dish is difficult to deliver fresh and tasty. Therefore, before opening a sushi delivery business, it is worth buying mini refrigerators and equipping courier transport with them. It is most convenient to deliver in a big city by car. So customers are guaranteed to receive their orders on time. For small settlements or delivery to nearby areas, you can use bicycle couriers or employees on scooters. Sushi delivery workers. To open a sushi delivery, you need a staff who will prepare dishes, accept and coordinate orders, and deliver products. True, if you decide to serve other cafes and restaurants, you will not need to hire chefs and sellers. The main personnel for the company, which is engaged in both cooking and delivery, sushi chef, prepares sushi and rolls, as well as other dishes of Asian cuisine. Seller operator takes orders, transfers them to the kitchen, forms a finished product for delivery. Courier driver delivers finished products to the specified address. Administrator organizes the workflow, controls the work of staff, purchases products and monitors the profitability of the business. How much does it cost to open a sushi delivery? In order not to miss anything, before you open a sushi delivery, you should draw up a business plan that describes in detail all the features of the enterprise. A business plan for a sushi delivery business should contain a business case, audience research, a detailed marketing strategy, and a calculation of the required startup investment. The demand for services is studied in order to calculate the profitability of the future business. It is also necessary to analyze competitors, their strengths and weaknesses. Calculate the sum of the expected costs and benefits to understand the payback period of the project. The main initial investment for opening delivery, rental of premises, purchase of products, business registration, employee salaries, obtaining permits, kitchen equipment, transportation equipment, purchase or hire of transport, its maintenance, advertising campaign to attract customers. One option is to buy a ready-made business. Sometimes purchasing an existing delivery service can seem even more expensive than opening everything from scratch. But in fact, you save time. The most difficult stages of registering and launching such a company are already behind you. In addition, a working enterprise has a much lower risk of burning out than a startup. The subtleties of business promotion. How to open a sushi delivery that will bring good profit. An important point for promoting a business is an effective marketing strategy. Develop a memorable and recognizable corporate identity. Organize an advertising campaign. This way you will attract an audience to your product and start building a customer base. Flyers, product visuals, and highly targeted ads for a specific area or query can help grab the attention of potential customers. Geotargeting advertising on Instagram will tell about you on the internet and help promote new business. Use co-branding opportunities. Have your business cards in nearby places where people might be interested in Japanese cuisine. Promotion costs are also taken into account when calculating how much it costs to open a sushi delivery. Remember that the courier services market in large cities is overflowing with offers, so the original company logo and a unified corporate identity will help customers stand out and be remembered. When drawing up a business plan for the delivery of sushi, consider the possible risks that can lead to financial losses. Among them is the increase in prices for raw materials or the supply of low-quality products. Because of this, you will have to increase the price of ready meals. After such measures, some of the clients, as a rule, leave. Therefore, even a promoted enterprise must be constantly advertised and promoted in the market. Another factor that can affect the operation of a business is strong competition. In order for the delivery service to survive in such conditions, it is necessary to offer customers unique services. For example, the delivery speed should be less than that of competitors. Another option is a loyalty program, bonus accumulation system, discounts. Offer the customer a line from simple to premium products. For example, sushi with a lot of fish, plus-size rolls, products for people with different requests and needs, vegetarian and vegan, suitable for diabetics, etc. Like any business, the idea of opening a sushi delivery business has its advantages and disadvantages. Among the advantages, the possibility of further growth and expansion, a small amount of startup capital, high demand for Japanese cuisine, good profitability, fast payback. The main disadvantage is the high competition in the market. This is especially true in metropolitan areas, where almost every chain restaurant has its own delivery service. Another problem is the difficulty in finding good chefs. The sushi delivery business is becoming more and more popular among entrepreneurs as courier services are in high demand in the market. If you organize the whole process correctly, the business will bring stable profits and will grow and expand over time.